Hello there. My name is Brian. This is Just the Dis, and we talk about Blu-rays here. And today I'm just going to run through some of the February titles that I got from Warner Archive. And I haven't had a chance to go through these really, but I just kind of wanted to highlight some of the classic film stuff they do. I don't do a lot of classic film highlighting outside of noir on this channel, and I'm going to try and change that a little bit. So some of you may be interested in this, some may not, no worries. But just some titles from February from Warner Archive. And let's start with Showboat. This is the 1951 version of Showboat with Katherine Grayson, Ava Gardner, Howard Keel. And I have seen no version of Showboat. This is not to be confused with the 1936 version that Criterion has released previous to this. This is the 1951, and it's apparently from the novel by Edna Farber that became a Broadway hit, and, Oscar Hammerstein was involved. I guess there's three versions, the 1929, 36, and this version. And it says, like Old Man River, Showboat just keeps rolling along. Produced by Arthur Freed and directed by George Sidney, this 1951 version of the saga of riverboat lives and loves has glorious stars in Technicolor radiance, made from scratch, 170-foot paddle wheeler, timeless songs, and equally timeless outcry against racial bigotry. This music that would outlast Kern's day and mine, Ferber said, recalling in her first reaction to Old Man River, she was right as rain. This one has a lot of, well, not a lot, but more features than we normally get on a Warner Archive Blu-ray. It has a commentary by director George Sidney. It has Till Clouds Roll By, Showboat 1946 sequence, the sequence from that film, apparently. Can't Help Loving That Man, and Bill with Ava Gardner, vocal audio only versions. A Lux Radio Theater broadcast from 1952, and a trailer. So if you are a Showboat fan, musical fan, this might be up your alley. And then I've got several Doris Day, I think, musicals. I think they're all musicals, actually. There's a lot of Doris Day musicals in the Warner Archive collection, and only two of them came out in February, so I'm going to emphasize and highlight just a couple others so that you're aware of them if you're a fan of hers. This one I have seen, but it has been a little while. It's My Dream Is Yours, and I want to say it is from around 1949. And this is one I swear that I've heard mentioned along with a movie called Blue Skies, and I think Love Me or Leave Me. There are three sort of darker musicals that Martin Scorsese has said are influences on New York, New York, which I happen to be a big fan of. And, it's interesting to hear him talk about these musicals because obviously what they do in terms of, the joyousness of the normal musical and how they sort of subvert that is kind of fascinating to me, So this one, it says talent agent Doug Blake, played by Jack Carson, is giving 100% to earn his 10%. He walks away from his arrogant singing star Lee Bowman and scrambles to discover another who will shine even brighter. He finds effervescent songstress Martha Gibson, Doris Day, and then it says during the shooting of Day's first film, Romance on the High Seas, which I'll actually talk about in a second, director Michael Curtiz was sure the sparkling newcomer had much more than a chance and set wheels in motion for My Dream Is Yours. Curtis dots his film with authentic Hollywood locales, including the fabled Schwab's Pharmacy, and Bugs Bunny himself hops in to a dream sequence. I do remember that. I remember liking that. Welcome to the Dream Factory. Make it yours. And it says it has the vintage Joe McDoak's comedy short, So You Want to Be an Actor, and then an Oscar-nominated drama short, The Grass is Always Greener, and classic cartoon, A Ham in a Roll, and the trailer. So you have that sort of Night at the Movies kind of setup from Warner Archive with My Dream Is Yours. And the other one from February for Doris Day, On Moonlight Bay, which is certainly a song I've heard of, but I've never seen this film. And it is from 1951, I believe. And it is her and Gordon McRae, as you can see there. And this one says, put on your straw boater and cuddle up a little closer. Not since Judy met the boy next door in St. Louis has there been a heaping of tuneful, romantic, Midwestern American life like this. Doris Day and Gordon McRae team for a spoonin', croonin', and swoonin' adventure on Moonlight Bay based on Booth Tarkington's Penrod stories. Not familiar with those. Try not to walk like a first baseman. Mama Rosemary DeCamp tells tomboy Marjorie as she prepares to date college man Bill, and that's Gordon McRae. The advice takes, and the lovebirds hear wedding bells ahead just as soon as Bill gets his sheepskin. But World War I rages over there, and Papa rages at home after a flap with his prospective son-in-law. Will harmony return to this Hoosier home? Surely Day and McRae will make musical harmony, and on Moonlight Bay we'll have you singing along. And this one has a vintage musical short. Let's see here. Let's sing a song about the moonlight, and a classic cartoon, A Hound for Trouble. Directed by Roy Del Ruth. I think I mentioned this is My Dream Is Yours is directed by Michael Curtiz, one of my favorite classic film directors. And then a few more from Doris Day. We have The Pajama Game. This came out in late January from Warner Archive. And this one is directed by George Abbott and Stanley Donen. Stanley Donen, of course, Singing in the Rain, Charade, etc. And this is one of those classics that I had never seen. And it is definitely a good-looking movie, that is for sure. It says, labor and management at the sleep-type pajama factory aren't sleeping much lately. A proposed 7.5-cent hourly wage increase is why, and a strike may result, but negotiations here involve snappy stars, terrific tunes, and dynamic dances as Doris Day, John Raitt, and a Broadway-seasoned cast play the Pajama Game. Songs by the Damn Yankees duo of Richard Adler and Jerry Ross, and choreography by Bob Fosse. Oh, that's cool. Generate lots of steam heat, quote unquote. All whipped together delightfully under the direction of two musical masters of the stage and screen. Again, that's Donen and George Abbott. George Abbott and Stanley Donen, besides Steam Heat, showcasing the quirky brilliance of dancer Carol Haney. Catch the songs Hey There, I'm Not All in Love, Hernando's Hideaway, Once a Year, and other all-time great numbers. For peerless entertainment, negotiate no further. Nothing's quite the same as the Pajama Game. And then this one has, let's see here, just a deleted song, The Man Who Invented Love, and a trailer. So not too much in the way of features on that. And then just a couple older ones. This one is fun, The Glass Bottom Boat, with her and Rod Taylor and Arthur Godfrey. This one directed by, let's see here, Frank Tashlin. That's why I like this. Tashlin is one of my favorite 50s directors, sort of the 50s comedies, the Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin comedies, and, you know, The Girl Can't Help It, and things like that. So this one is fun because it's later. It's from 1965, I think, 66 maybe. Doris Day entered her 8th consecutive year as a top 10 box office star when she boarded The Glass Bottom Boat, a hilarious blending of romantic comedy and the era's burgeoning spy movie genre. So I guess James Bond plays a role in this, as you can kind of guess from that cover. Looks a little James Bondy to me. Day plays Jennifer, a girl Friday at Hush Hush Aeronautics think tank. When colleagues suspect she's an espionage agent, Jennifer chaotically sets out to clear her name. Looney Tunes alumnus Frank Tashlin directs with a cartoonist sensibility or zany insensibility, embracing everything from spy guises to push-button chaos in a futuristic kitchen. I love that kind of stuff, by the way, the sort of quasi-futuristic technology of the mid-1960s, making the home much more automated, that kind of stuff I've always appreciated and found amusing. And it says, with top comedians Arthur Godfrey, Paul Lynde, Edward Andrews, John McGiver, Dom DeLuise, and Dick Martin in tow, Glass Bottom Boat is loaded to top to bottom with see-through fun. It has 3 vintage featurettes, Catalina Island, Every Girl's Dream, and a NASA Oscar-winning cartoon, The Dot and the Line. Actually, that's one of my favorite cartoons from the Warner Brothers, Looney Tune type studio stuff. Like, I'm not going to talk about it because it's a little bit abstract. It is literally about a dot and a line, and it's pretty cool though. I forgot that was on here. That's really neat. So anyway, that's Glass Bottom Boat, and then lastly, I mentioned it before, but Romance on the High Seas, and this is a pretty charming romantic comedy boat movie, again with her and Jack Carson. This one is more straight comedy, not like My Dream Is Yours, which is darker, but this one is about, let's see, it says Georgia Garrett's singing career may not be going anywhere, but she is. She's on a cruise sailing under the name Miss Elvira Kent, while the real Elvira secretly stays home to spy on her presumably philandering hubby. Meanwhile, the husband hires a spy to snoop on his supposedly voyaging wife. Doris Day makes her maiden film voyage, debuting as Georgia in a colorful bauble afloat on romantic seas. The studio surrounds the sunny overnight screen sensation with top talent. Michael Curtiz directs this one as well. The Epstein brothers provide the script. Epstein's, of course, did Casablanca, among others. And it says Busby Berkeley guides the musical numbers. Jules Stein and Sammy Kahn create the tunes, and co-stars include Oscar Levant and Jack Carson. It's magic. Day sings. Yes, it is. Vintage musical short, Let's Sing a Song from the movies, and a classic cartoon, Hair Splitter. So yeah, this one is pretty nice, pretty fun, and light and breezy, and, well put together, just sort of a comedy of, mistaken identity, that sort of common trope from this period. But I forgot Busby Berkeley worked on the musical numbers as well as the Epstein script and Michael Curtiz, and so it's a fun little movie and definitely worth picking up if you like Doris Day. Anyway, that is just a little bit of a rundown on some recent Warner Archive classic film titles, and I will try to do that periodically as I'm getting them. So hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you are a classic film fan and you've picked up any of these, or if there's other classic films from other labels, Kino, wherever. Let me know what you picked up. I'm, into classic films, even though I don't talk about them as much on this channel. So I'm always looking for recommendations in that arena. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.